This is ATN Global News at 9. First, the headlines. NDDC to inaugurate 84 billion naira projects. Northeast governors decry blackout in region. FG constitutes governing councils of tertiary institutions. NCC suspends issuance of license. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger finalized regional alliance. Mohbad's father claims singer rejected son. Man City eye Premier League history. Details of our stories. The Niger Delta Development Commission will, over the next 2 weeks, inaugurate 92 infrastructures executed at the cost of 84 billion naira across the 9 states in the region. Commission's Director, Corporate Affairs, Pius Ugakbo-Teni, in a statement in Port Harcourt, said the project were a testament of the impact of the Commission, which was making in changing the development narratives of the region. He named the project as the 25.7 kilometer Ogbeanembe Road, which he said created a road link to the ancient city of Nimbe for the first time in living memory, and the 9.15 kilometer of prefabricated vertical drains on the swamp and 7 bridges. He said the Ogbeanembe Road was executed at 24 billion naira and cuts the travel time to Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, from 3 hours on dangerous water route to a mere 45 minutes, adding that it opened up 14 communities for development. He said in Akwa Ibom State, NDDC would inaugurate the 6.87 kilometer Iko-Iwo-Chang Road in the southern part of the state. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad has dismantled an illegal refining site containing over 100,000 liters of stolen crude oil in Adobe Settlement, a Che local government area, River State. Commander of the CGs, Dandaura Apollos, said the success resulted from credible intelligence indicating that suspect had vandalized a multinational company's wellhead. He added that the suspect connected galvanized metal pipes with large hoses to siphon and locally process the crude oil. The NSCDC spokesman, Babawale Afolabi, in a statement on Saturday, said the SIS promptly acted on the information, uncovering several sites where significant illegal refining activities were taking place. Analysts have blamed Governor Fubara for withholding local government funds in the state. Speaking on ATN Open Conversation, Don Okparaji stated that it is a gross misconduct from the governor for withholding such funds.
The truth remains that what is wrong is wrong. The governor has committed very serious constitutional sacrilege by usurping the powers of the local government. What the local government chairmen, to my knowledge, are fighting for is their own powers, to exercise their own power.
Speaking further, Don Okparaji urged Governor Fubara to make a redress on the issue. Recall that a senator advocated...
If there was 18th and the local government chairmen are not out of office, or it is July, and then they are asking that governor should pay them because that would have been, you are creating another good discussion, which the governor may have or would have to have a good defense. But now their tenor is still reading. Okay, now if there is a partial truth that the governor have usurped the power of the local government and are paying all the civil servants, how about the appointees? Are they not part of governors? How about the local government chairman? Are they not part of governors? How about the people that sweeps on the street who were nominated or who are also part of the wage bill? Are they not even...
Recall that a senior advocate of Nigeria, Wahab Shitu, has said the Rivers Governor Fubara is wrong for withholding local government area funds. Rivers State Analysis advocates effective police training and tasked the Nigerian police force on the effective training of its men to help curb criminal activities. Lakiman Egila, a socio-political analyst, stated this on ATN Blowout program. Speaking further, Luckyman Aguila recalled situations regarding unethical practice from men of the police force and as well called for investigations, sensitization and possible sanctions.
Police officers will just, maybe at a point in time you're driving late in the night, they abduct you, they bring up trumped-up charges, they can even call you a Yahoo boy and seize your ATM cards. They force you to make withdrawals so that they can get something and they leave. But then, it is not a random thing. You know, it's once in a while. We know that there are very good police officers that are out there doing a very good and fantastic job. But there are also bad eggs in the Nigerian police force. And these bad eggs are the ones that we expect the police to begin to look inward and begin to fish out. Also, you know, there is the need, the primary need for the police to carry out a sensitization program.
That a point of sales agent, Uzoma Godswill, was abducted by some armed men with AK-47 rifles who were later identified as police officers along Eleme Road, River State. Women of Okoloba community in Bomadi local government area weekend protested against what they called the return of armed youth of Ukwama in Ugili South local government area, who they alleged were threatening the peace of the riverine area. The placard-carrying women, led by the chairlady of Okoloba community, Mrs. Timmy Pakebi Godwin, and Secretary Mrs. Mary Koibi, staged a peace protest on black attires along the coastal fringe of Okoloba community, chanting against violence and bloodbath, as well as sending an SOS to the federal government to come to their aid. Chairlady of Okoloba, Mrs. Godwin, speaking to newsmen with a written address that was made available to security apparatuses, which include the police, DSS, NSCDC, JTF, as well as the acting chairman of Bomadi Local Government Council, noted that the latest killing by the youth of Okwama showed that they could kill human beings at the slightest provocation. The latest killing showed that the people of Okwama can kill a human at the slightest provocation. The sanctity of human life means nothing to them. It also shows that neighboring Ijaw communities like Okoloba are not safe. Cross River State government has dismantled no fewer than 50 illegal revenue points in parts of the state. This follows the monitoring and inspection exercise led by Special Advisor to the Governor on Tolls Collection, Mr. Basi Ita Edet, in the northern part of the state. Findings indicated that unauthorized persons allegedly used the 50 revenue points of sale money to extort money from commuters on the roads within the state. Edet told journalists that they are poised to clamp down on the menace of illegal checkpoints and tolls, which is the reason a massive crackdown on such collections has begun. He stressed that the end to all illegal tolls and checkpoints was in line with the mandate of Governor Basi Otu's People's First. Edet warned those that have constituted themselves as hindrances to the government's effort to stem illegal collection of taxes, rates and assessments as a way of creating an enabling environment for commercial users of the roads, saying his team will not condone such any further. At least 2 criminal elements have been killed while others were injured following a gun battle with the Nigerian troops of Operation Udo Ka in Imo State. A statement issued on Saturday by Lieutenant Colonel for Joint Task Force Operation Udo Ka said one kidnapper was gunned down at Umuaka in Njaba local government area of the state. He explained that the troops, while on routine patrol at Umuaka along Oluwere Road, were alerted of the kidnap incident and the escape route of the kidnappers. In a similar incident, troops in conjunction with personnel of Naval Base Oguta also neutralized a suspected member of the indigenous people of Biafra at Amagbere Dere village in Oguta local government area of Imo State. Face-off between the Nigeria Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, and Anambra Governor Chukwuma Soludo over minimum wage has taken a new dimension. A few days ago, the national president of NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero, wrote a letter accusing Soludo of inciting other governors not to pay 70,000 naira as minimum wage. Ajaero issued a 7-day ultimatum to the Anambra governor to address the issues of workers in the state or face industrial action, but the state government debunked the allegations, while highlighting the commendable strides Soludo has made in improving the welfare and working conditions of Anambra workers since he assumed office in March 2022. Soludo summoned the Labour leaders to a meeting next Wednesday to discuss the way forward and avoid the looming danger. Speaking with newsmen at the weekend, some of the Labour leaders who did not want to be mentioned said Soludo should not start what he cannot finish. Reacting on the allegation, Soludo's press secretary, Chris Aburime, at the weekend said at no time did Soludo incite or influence other governors against paying the proposed 70,000 minimum wage. Nigerian Union in South Africa has condemned the killing of Prince Ebuka, a 43-year-old Nigerian national from Obosi, Anambra State. Ebuka was killed on Friday in Daniel's School, Northern Cape, South Africa. This was contained in a statement signed by the NUSA National Publicity Secretary, Habib Miller, and made available to our correspondent on Saturday. In the statement, the union highlighted the tribal pattern of police abuse targeting Nigerians in the Northern Cape. Since March, similar incidents have been reported in Kimberley involving drug accusations and police violence. NUSA also noted that the death of another Nigerian, Chika Anunu, by police in Springs, Johannesburg, on April 25. According to the statement, Ebuka's wife, Joyce, reported that law enforcement officers stormed their home, forcing her to leave to protect the young child from the violence. Ebuka was then assaulted and pressured to produce drugs allegedly in his possession. When nothing was found, officers took him to a waste dump, accusing him of hiding illegal substances there. NUSA further demanded a thorough, impartial investigation into Prince Ebuka's killing and the broader issue of police abuse in the Northern Cape. 3 suspects, including 2 teenagers, have been arrested in Enugu State for alleged armed robbery. The suspects are David Ogabasi, alias Onyeami, Akabwe Favor, and Obayi Chimezie. Enugu police spokesman Daniel Ndukwe said the suspects specialized in snatching cars and robbing commercial tricyclists, popularly known as keke, of the cash and other valuables in Enugu metropolis and other parts of the state. Ndukwe said the suspects were arrested May 3 and May 7 in Oji River and Garuki. According to the police, the teenagers, Akabwe Favor and Obayi Chimezie, both males and residents of Trans-Ekulu, Enugu, were arrested after they used 2 toy pistols to snatch Honda from its owner at Amaititi Aku in Archie community of Oji River local government area on the same date around 5:05 a.m. on May 3. The toy guns and a syringe containing a liquid substance suspected to be acid and other exhibits were recovered from them. Also, Onyami was arrested by police detectives at Gariki, Enugu, following the receipt of a report from a tricyclist who alleged that a gang of 3 armed robbers on May 6, 2024, around 10 p.m., diverted and robbed him of his cash, phone, and other belongings, while conveying them to Gariki or Kunana, Enugu. He said all the suspects will be arraigned and prosecuted once discrete investigations into the cases were concluded. Enugu State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects for alleged armed robbery in the Enugu metropolis and Oji River axis of the state. The police also recovered firearms and other items from the suspects. This is contained in a statement by the command spokesman, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, in Enugu on Saturday. Ndukwe said detectives serving in the Alkunana Police Division on May 7 around 1:30 p.m. arrested a 31-year-old suspect named withheld while his cohorts escaped. He said the operators recovered 1 locally fabricated Beretta-like pistol from the suspect Ndukwe said operatives serving in Orji River Police Division, working with members of the Neighborhood Watch Group on May 3, around 5:20 a.m., arrested 2 suspects, names withheld, for alleged robbery. He said the suspects, who are the residents of Trans Ekulu Enugu, allegedly armed with toy pistols, robbed their victim of cash, phone, and other belongings. He said that the suspects will be charged to court on completion of investigations into the cases. Ogun State Police Command has urged residents of the state to be conscious of new tactics deployed by kidnappers to get their victims. The command's public relations officer, Omolola Odutola, on Saturday said kidnappers now lay siege for the victims at their gate and attack when they are about to enter their homes. Odutola, who disclosed that a manhunt has been launched for the kidnap syndicate, stressed that the incident had become prevalent in the eastern part of the state. The spokesperson disclosed that areas where the syndicates operate include Chagamu, Ikperu, Ikene, Odogbolu, and Eruwang in Ijebu-Ode in the Ogun East Senatorial District. She added that a similar report was made by a member of the public about the kidnapping of his wife in the same manner. The PPRO noted that people living in remote areas where the police may not be able to access easily were the targets of the syndicate. She, however, urged people living in places with distant proximity to the nearest police station to avoid night movement. In a bid to forestall any unforeseen circumstances, the Independent National Electoral Commission has charged security agencies to ensure a peaceful environment conducive for the successful conduct of the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in Edo and Ondo states. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the charge at the second quarterly consultative meeting with Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja. The INEC board stressed the need to ensure that the Edo State governorship election, slated for Saturday, September 21, 2024, and the Ondo gubernatorial election scheduled for Saturday, November 16, 2024, are conducted in the atmosphere of peace.
I urge you to keep your eyes on the electioneering process with a view to preventing violent attacks or negative mobilization by political parties, candidates, and their supporters during their campaigns. Similarly, the use of the power of incumbency to deny opposition parties and candidates access to public facilities, such as radio and television stations, public buildings for their campaigns and rallies, or even outdoor advertising through the imposition of excessive fees and levies, often result in the breach of the peace. These actions, including mutual destruction of campaign materials and facilities, violate the provisions of sections 91 to 97 of the Electoral Act 2022. The security agencies have to ensure, and they have the duty to enforce the law.
We should be a bit more careful in our deployments in terms of the numbers, so that we will not overburden the system.
National Security Advisor, who is a co-chairman of the forum, assured of a harmonious relationship with INEC in ensuring that the election is successful. The NSA, who was represented by the director, Mr. Hassan Abdullahi, urged security agencies to be careful with their deployment in terms of numbers so that the system will not be overburdened. Oyo State government on Saturday opened a wing of the dual carriageway or Lodo Bridge for vehicular movement. The government earlier in the week opened the path for pedestrians. At a brief opening, Commissioner for Public Works and Transport, Professor Dahoud Sangodoyi, said the effort was to ease the stress of motorists in the access while construction works continues on the other side of the road. He noted that the government will ensure the project is completed by the end of the year. The bridge, which forms part of ongoing 35.6-kilometer Iwo Road or Lodo Bank, Eleshin Godogbo, Odoba links Oyo to Iwo, Osun State. The commissioner said the successful completion of the first half of the bridge will enhance seamless movement of people, vehicles, goods and services, and also serve as a link connecting Osun State. The major features of the bridge opened among other works, according to the commissioner, are piling works, construction of central piers, precast beams and slab, return and retaining wall, deck, parapet wall, approach slab and median. Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi says the state is committed to winning the war against criminals and enemies of peace and progress. The governor stated this in a statement by the state's Commissioner for Information, Mr. Kingsley Fanwo, on Saturday in Lokoja. Ododo was quoted as saying, "My administration is," he said, the recent rescue of He said the recent rescue of 21 out of the 24 kidnapped students of Confluence University of Science and Technology was a clear testament that Kogi would be ruthless against criminals in the state. The government, he said, on Saturday received heartwarming reports of the rescue of 2 kidnapped women from Yagba West and Yagba East local government areas of the state. Ododo said the government had also secured the release of scores of kidnapped victims who were not even residents of the state, but kidnapped in their various states and taken to the forests. Honorable Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, has announced 27th May to 6th June to be commissioning date of FCT projects done in 1 year in office. The minister made the announcement 17th May 2024 while in a final visit to the Vice President official resident and some sites yet to be completed in Abuja City.
Of the various projects, and particularly on 27th, we believe the President will flag off the commercial operation of the metro line. We believe on Monday we'll do the final inspection of that. From what we have seen, I think we're good to go. We're ready for the commissioning. So 27th of May, and it will be ending on the 6th of June. The only day we will not have any activity will be on the 29th, which of course is the 1 year in office of President, and we have a lot of activities that day. And 29th and 31st. 31st is a Sunday, so we will not have any activity, but 27th, 28th, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we will have projects that the President will be inaugurating. So it's like 9 days activities, events. So we're happy, and the contractors are meeting up. All the promises made, they have fulfilled, and we have also fulfilled our own part by making sure that we have cash backed up. As I speak to you, most of it come back, they are working on it. And you also know that most of the projects we are doing, you don't expect the lights to be on now. All they are doing, they are transforming it. So sometimes most of the things I'm talking about are those that are being worked on. We believe, by the grace of God, we believe that before the commissioning date, you will see most of the lights will be on. So we can tell you that with good authority.
Responding to the question of how many projects are expected to be commissioned and whether he is distracted due to the ongoing political fight in his hometown, River State, Wike said,
"Because we don't want to saddle government every day. We have a lot of projects. You know, the access roads to all the stations are there. We're not talking about that. We're also going to flag off new projects like the construction of the new Korobapi division. The bus terminals will also flag them up within this period. So many projects. I can't stand before you and say this is the total number of projects that will be commissioned and the one that will be flagged up. So many, I can assure you. But what is important is that the President has given us 7th to 6th of June. We'll call it FCT Week of Commissioning of Projects. Yeah.
Sir, we want to congratulate you for achieving this.
You will see this performance. Yeah. I focus on my work, so I'm not interested. I'm the Minister of FCT. The works are going on, so why would I be distracted? If you are distracted, how would you just be going? So I don't even think about it at all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Proposed mass wedding of 100 orphaned girls in Mariga local government area of Niger State has attracted more attention than was intended. The invitation card announcing that the Speaker Niger State House of Assembly, Abdulmalik Sarkindaji, would be given the hands of 100 orphans in marriage was first cited on the social media platform Facebook. The Speaker, who represents Mariga constituency at the State Assembly, however, did not disclose the age range of the girls, but stated that the girls who would be married off were carefully selected from the 170 girls whose names were submitted to him. Some of the girls proposed for marriage, however, told reporters that they had planned to get married for a long time, but their marriage was delayed due to lack of funds resulting from the death of their parents. One of the brides, Hussaina Abdullahi, said she's 21 years old and was not being forced into any marriage as she decided to get married by herself. She explained that she had desired marriage since she was 19, but her parents were killed by bandits, and that halted her wedding plans. Niger State Emergency Management Agency has said that no life was lost in a building collapse at Sabongari area of Mina Metropolis in Niger. Director General of the agency, Abdullahi Babara, confirmed this in a statement in Mina on Saturday. Babara said the agency received a distress call at about 3:15 p.m. on Friday of a building collapse at Sabongari area of Mina. He said the agency alerted the emergency responding agencies for search and rescue operations. He said that 5 persons had been rescued with varying degree of injuries, while 2 others escaped unhurt, adding that no one was trapped. According to him, preliminary investigation shows that the story building is meant for residential purpose and later converted to a warehouse. The Director General said the owner of the building had no approval to convert it to a warehouse as the building was poorly constructed with substandard materials. Babara said the warehouse was stocked with soft drinks of about 25 trucks, which overpowered the structure, resulting to its collapse. Kebbi State government says the third flight from Sir Ahmadu Bello International Airport, Benin Kebbi, arrived in Medina, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, on Saturday. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ahmed Idris, said the third plane, which took off from Benin Kebbi, conveyed 430 intending pilgrims from Gwandu, Aliero, Bunza, and Kalga local government areas of Kebbi, alongside Kebbi government officials. He further explained that the plane left Nigeria at about 4 p.m. Nigerian time and arrived at Medina at about 12:30 a.m. Saudi Arabian time. According to the statement, Malam Hussaini Abubakar Gira, one of the board members of the Kebbi Pilgrims Welfare Board, said all necessary arrangements had been done to receive the intended pilgrims in Medina and take them to their respective hotels. It said immediately upon arrival, buses were already parked waiting for the pilgrims. It added that the pilgrims were grouped into 45 people right from Nigeria using their passports, saying that immediately they arrived, they identified each group member through his or her passport, which made work easy for them. Northeast Governors Forum have expressed dismay over the blackout experienced by the region in the last month. The forum berated the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, over what it describes as a nonchalant attitude in addressing the issue. The governors disclosed their dissatisfaction in a communique issued at the end of their 10th meeting held in Bauchi on Saturday. They were hosted by Governor Bala Mohammed at the Government House. According to the communique signed by the forum's chairman and Governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, the governors resolved in the short term to set up a solar power that can generate a minimum of 10 megawatts per state. They also urged the federal government to direct TCN to redouble its efforts to restoring power supply to the region. The forum also reiterated its concern over the seeming neglect of the Northeast in the allocation of federal government capital projects. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has solicited support for families of the victims of arson attack on a mosque at Laraba Abbasawa in Gezawa local government area of Kano State. The attack led to the death of 15 worshippers with 17 others sustaining injuries. In the early hours of Wednesday, 38-year-old Shafiu Abubakar sprayed the mosque with petrol, locked its doors and ignited a deposited gallon filled with fuel. 32 persons observing the early morning prayers when Abubakar set the mosque ablaze because of a prolonged family disagreement over sharing of inheritance. Expressing condolence in a statement he personally signed in Abuja on Saturday. On behalf of the APC state chairman and his gubernatorial candidate Al-Haji Abdullahi Abbas and Dr. Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, other stakeholders and the entire members of the APC candidate condemned the attack and consoled the families of the victims. The former Kano governor said he was deeply saddened by the unfortunate tragedy in which the worshippers were gruesomely killed and offered words of comfort and support to those recovering from their injuries. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be right
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. As Morrison Communications Limited proudly presents Children's Day Celebration 2024
at La Small Hotel and Resorts, number 9, Rumukalagbo, off Waterlines, Basta, Port Harcourt.
On Saturday, May 25th, starting at 8 a.m., inter-school march past competition,
dance competition, drama competition. Parents, teachers, and children alike, don't miss out on the fun with Uncle Clown bouncing castle as we cut the Children's Day cake. Admission is just 2,000 naira per child. For participation and sponsorship opportunities, call us now 0806 673 8689 and 0810 634 1777.
This event is proudly sponsored by the Last Mall Hotel and Resort with Atlantic Television Network and 99.5 Wish FM Port Harcourt, Lesuka Event Center, Gate Place Hotel, 8 Ball Hotel and Lounge, Oma Studio, Osgia Table Water.
Remember that every child is unique. See you there. This event is managed by Pace Expressions Arts.
Special guest appearance, Hilda Dokubo, Children's Day Celebration 2024.
Driver, why you just jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask go?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey, light o usai, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the people.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay.
Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No verse. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call. Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Come back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointments of at least 555 persons to serve as pro-chancellors, chairman and members of governing boards of 111 federal universities, polytechnics and colleges of education. This followed Tinubu's assent to a list of nominees selected by the Ministry of Education. An advertorial by the Education Ministry cited by newsmen showed the appointment of a chairperson and 4 members for each of the institutions. It was signed by the ministry's permanent secretary, D.D. Esther Welting-Jack. When contacted for confirmation, the presidency said the list emanated from the Ministry of Education. British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, has said the United Kingdom was impressed by the security strategies President Tinubu has put in place. Montgomery also reiterated the UK government's support for the Nigerian government in terms of security, transparency, and accountability in governance. Montgomery stated this during a high-level dialogue on delivering the Renewed Hope agenda on the theme Nigeria's global ambitions, from hope to reality in Abuja. He applauded Tinubu's agenda, saying it focused on priorities and delivery. On his part, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, praised the stakeholders' efforts by the Vice President, Shetima, for convening the high-level forum to mark the first anniversary of the Tinubu administration. House of Representatives have threatened to invoke the provision of 1999 Constitution as amended to compel the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Temitope Fashidemi, to appear before it to answer questions on the activities of the Rural Development section of the ministry. The House expressed displeasure that the Permanent Secretary has consistently ignored the invitation from the committee and has, on 5 occasions, failed to honor the invitation. Chairman of the House Committee on Rural Development, Honorable Marcus Onubu, and some members who spoke at the meeting with the ministry frowned at the attitude of the Permanent Secretary and the ministry, accusing them of undermining the House and the provisions of the Constitution, which empowers the House to oversee all agencies of government.
To thank every one of you for your contributions so far, and to join my colleague who mentioned that this is about the 5th meeting we have had this Committee on Rural Development, that the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, had refused to appear. I'd like to correct one notion, because the director mentioned just now, I don't know if it was a slip of tongue, when you said you are not here to answer query. This committee is constitutionally bound to query every of your activity, both in terms of projects or policies of your ministry.
I hope you are aware that early this year, we abandoned our duty and pay a courtesy call to the Ministry of Agric under the Rural Development. You are aware. And that day, the PAMSEC was not there. it was you and the director of St. Finance was there. The director of finance was not part of it, but when he saw a call of the National Assembly, he decided to be part of it. Within your conscience, is what your agency doing is part of the law or is it act of the law? When you know that we are empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic.
Lawmakers became furious when a director in the ministry, Engineer Frank Satumari Kudla, who represented the permanent secretary, claimed that he was not in attendance at the meeting to answer queries, but on the instruction of the permanent secretary, so that it does not appear like they're snubbing the committee. Engineer Kudla told the committee that the permanent secretary was attending an official function at a place he did not disclose to the committee. Federal government has approved 110 billion naira to revitalize the National Youth Investment Fund for the empowerment of youth in the country. Minister of Youth Development Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim disclosed this during the closing ceremony of the ministry's two-day management retreat on presidential priorities and deliverables with the theme Achieving the 8 Presidential Priorities and Deliverables in Abuja. Bio Ibrahim stated that the funds which have been approved under the 2024 fiscal year would serve as a cornerstone for youth empowerment. She said the fund is not just a financial reservoir, but a catalyst for youth entrepreneurship and innovation aimed at bridging the gap between ambition and opportunity. In a statement on Saturday in Abuja by the Director, Press and Public Relations of the Ministry, Omolara Esson, the ministry stated that President Bola Tinubu administration was committed to empowering every Nigerian youth through actionable policies and innovative programs which align with the renewed hope agenda. ECOWAS says it has completed a project on strengthening human resources in public health in West Africa worth 4.5 million euros. The West African Health Organization under ECOWAS watch stated this at the launch ceremony of the Strengthening Human Resources in Public Health project in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. ECOWAS Vice President Damien L. Chinchimpijia attributed that the project is the best option for West Africa health sector, saying it will help to build capacity and as well build health panels in the West Africa who are longing to leave the continent to US and many others to excel, adding that the project will first favor 3 countries which are Togo, Benin and Guinea, and thereafter extend to other countries gradually.
Well, this project is very important to us in West Africa. As you know, it's being implemented by the West African Health Organization, WAHO, in collaboration with our partners, the French Agency for Development. And it is significant because this project aims to help build capacity in the health sector and also to help us retain the health personnel within our region. So the project is starting at first with 3 countries. You have Togo, Benin, and Guinea. That are the first 3 countries that will benefit from this financing, and it will span on a period of 4 years, and it's a 4.5 million euro envelope over the 4-year period. Well, as you know, our organization, our community is made up of 15 member states. You have to start somewhere. You can't do all countries at once. So this is the first stage of the financing that we've been able to secure through one partner, and we are also calling upon other partners to join in order to help boost this project so that we can extend it to other member states as well. So because we have a brain drain of our health practitioners, as you can see, a lot of our youth, once they have invested so much in acquiring their education in the health sector, they tend to leave and move on to more developed countries, the US, Canada, various countries in Europe. So this is to help mobilize them within our countries, and also to help improve our health sector in our various countries throughout our region.
The country director to Nigeria, Adeng France Development AFD, Xavier Moran, a partner to WAHO, said his organization will keep on supporting WAHO to ensure good health policies in the West African continent.
The total cost of this project is 4.5 million euros. This is the first phase as regards the human resources for public health. This is the total for our own, but we also plan additional support as regards direct financing to the states, other states. You are in the know that only 3 states are involved so far in terms of direct activities, but the main component of the program is to strengthen the West African Health Organization for them to disseminate good practices around all the region and all the countries. But as far as the French Agency for Development is concerned, we are planning some additional support straight to the states and the government that are willing to do more in that region.
Federal government has called for more efforts towards awareness, sensitization and prevention of hypertension-related diseases as a panacea to early death of young Nigerians.
It is important to remind us that winning the war against hypertension is a joint responsibility.
At the 2024 World Hypertension Day event in Abuja, representing the minister at the event, Dr. Nse Michael Akpan, Acting Director, Public Health of the Ministry, said all stakeholders have a task at hand as the control and prevention of hypertension is cost-effective compared to treatment and medical efforts. Akpan said it is estimated that over 1 billion people in the world live with hypertension, with 52% aware of the status, and 28 million Nigerians are hypertensive, with about 14 million of whom are not diagnosed.
It is important to remind us that winning the war against hypertension is a joint responsibility. Generally, the adoption of healthy lifestyle is an integral strategy that should be practiced by all. I urge you to observe the 10 things that was mentioned by engaging in the physical activity, avoid high alcohol and tobacco consumptions, eat moderate and eat an healthy diet, know your BP, reduce the high level of intake of sodiums and salt, and live an healthy lifestyle. Engage in exercise or physical activity that can keep you fit. So Nigerians are at advantage and nobody should be left out. That is why it's important that we should know our blood pressure and be sure that it is controlled. Hypertension is a silent killer, and if you are not doing something to it, it could be very fatal.
Speaking for the Nigerian Heart Foundation, Dr. Abiola Awe spoke on the benefits of awareness and healthy lifestyle to preventing hypertension and other heart-related diseases.
The nuggets are quite simple. It's a practical approach to reducing the burden of cardiovascular diseases. Hypertension is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The first thing Nigerians need to do is to avoid harmful alcohol intake. Avoid or reduce their use of sodium, the one in cube forms, or salt as it is called. We have said 5 milligrams per day. That's half a teaspoon quantity per day will be enough. If they are concerned about their taste, the taste will adjust. Their taste bud will adjust to it. Number 3, we had said that they should minimize oil, and the Honorable Minister Coordinating mentioned it. Trans fat, unbranded oils. The Nigerian Heart Foundation have endorsed some oils as good for heart. I don't want to mention the brand names, but they're in the market. Nigerians should avoid unbranded oils.
Analysts have tasked the federal government to consider a review as regards the age of eligibility for admission into tertiary education in the country. Speaking on Atlantic Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Emmanuel Nweke, stated that the age review and implementation will help to improve the active workforce of the nation.
Instead of Minister of Education going solo, why not approach the National Assembly for us to reduce the adult agehood of Nigeria to be 16, right? So if what you want to pursue is that avoid undue influences on these people, on these persons, even when they are in tertiary institutions. So if an adult, by definition of the Constitution, now becomes 16, so the person will now be eligible or competent to think for himself or herself. So if you look at all the economic indicators and how the technology has helped people to beef up, right? And how now it is not just about the age. What we now consider as age is a level of exposure and experience. Do you understand? Your level, there is a 18-year-old person, a man or woman, that is a 13-year-old is by way of experience is more exposed than the person. His or her wealth of experience.
In view of digital education, Emmanuel Nweke emphasized the need for sustainable digital education system to enhance academic flexibility across the country.
Far better than the person that is 18 and wants to go into a university. If you look at it again, where is this person growing up from? What kind of environment?
Chicago-based female teenager Dr. Dorothy Jean Tillman II had just set a remarkable academic record after receiving her doctorate from Arizona State University in the U.S. at the age of 17. Now the business news. In line with its powers under the Nigerian Communications Act 2003 to grant and renew licenses, promote fair competition and develop the communications industry, the Nigerian Communications Commission has temporarily suspended issuance of licenses to operators in 3 categories. The Commission, in a short notice, informed all stakeholders of a temporary suspension on issuance of new licenses in the Interconnect Exchange License, Mobile Virtual Network Operator License, and Valued Added Service Aggregator License. It said the temporary suspension is necessary to enable the Commission to conduct a thorough review of several key areas within these categories, including the current level of competition, market saturation, and current market dynamics. The Commission advised the public to note that during the suspension period, new application for the aforementioned licenses will not be accepted. Dangote Refinery has promised that Nigeria will end importation of petrol in June when it commences production. Promoter of the refinery, Aliko Dangote, disclosed this at the Africa CEO Forum Annual Summit in Kigali, Rwanda. He said the refinery will meet domestic demand for petrol in not only Nigeria, but also other West African nations. Dangote said the refinery has enough aviation fuel to meet the continent's demands, as well as export to Brazil and Mexico. He added that next month we will be producing diesel and gasoline. Dangote said the refinery has 650,000 barrels per day, 1 million tons of polypropylene, 590,000 carbon black, the raw materials for ink, dyes, and others. Dangote stressed that the second phase of the refinery will start in 2025. And now to international tidbits. Jontaron, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have finalized plans to form a confederation after turning their backs on former colonial ruler France to seek closer ties with Russia. Their foreign ministers met in Niger's capital, Niamey, to agree on a text establishing the Confederation of the Alliance of Sahel States. He said the text would be adopted by the heads of state of the 3 countries at the summit without specifying the date. The third foreign minister at the meeting was Burkina Faso's Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré. The Sahel region has been subject to deadly jihadist violence for years, which they accused France of not being able to curb. The 3 countries said late January they were quitting the economic community of West African states, which they said was under French influence, to create their own regional grouping. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia could increase its attacks in Ukraine's northeast following its recent gains near the city of Kharkiv. Russian troops have been trying to push forward as Ukraine's outgunned forces attempt to shore up a weakened front line. Zelensky admitted that there were issues with military staffing and morale, saying a number of existing brigades were empty. He also told newsmen that the country's air fleet was lacking in renewed calls for allies to send more air, defense and fighter jets. Recall that U.S. recently approved a new $61 billion aid package for Ukraine, which includes military support. Death toll from severe weather that lashed the Texas city of Houston has risen to 7. According to reports, the 3 additional deaths came after Houston, the 4th largest U.S. city, was hit Thursday by heavy rain and winds up to 100 miles, 160 kilometers per hour, leaving downtown streets covered in glass from blown-out windows, downed trees and power lines littered residential areas. And the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado touched down in the suburb of Cypress. According to Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, the new victims included an 85-year-old woman who died after her mobile home was struck by lightning and caught fire, a 60-year-old man who was found unresponsive and pronounced dead after going to his truck to try to power his oxygen tank after electricity was cut across wild swaths of the storm-hit area. And now entertainment. Joseph Aloba, father of late singer Ilerioluwa Aloba, better known as Mohbad, has claimed that the singer rejected his son Liam before his death. Speaking in a clip captured from a recent social media making the rounds on X, he claimed his late son told him he only slept with Wumi once before she brought Liam's pregnancy to him. Aloba has been clamoring for a DNA test to be conducted on Liam to ascertain his true paternity following the tragic death of the rapper. Wumi, who had previously expressed her readiness for a DNA test on her son, said she is no longer open to a DNA test on Liam. She said only her late husband has the right to request a DNA test from her. Wumi claimed that Mohbad disvirgined her and he was the only man she had ever known. Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election, Peter Obi, has paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Nollywood actor Junior Pope. The former Anambra State Governor also signed the condolence register. Nollywood actor and former spokesperson of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Kenneth Okonkwo, shared pictures and videos from the visit on his Instagram page on Saturday afternoon. Recall that Junior Pope died on April 10, 2024, alongside 3 others after the boat capsized on the Anam River in Anambra State while returning from a film location. He was later arrested at his hometown, Ukehe, in Untuka local government area, Enugu State, on Friday. And here now is ATN Sports. Manchester City stands on the brink of a historic 4th successive Premier League title, but Arsenal lie in wait, hoping for a last gasp sleep from the leaders on Sunday. Pep Guardiola's all-conquering team go into the final day of the season with a 2-point lead over second-placed Arsenal thanks to an 8-game winning streak. City, who host West Ham, knowing a win will seal the title, are hot favourites to set a new standard for dominance in English football. Arsenal at home to Everton in the final game have been near flawless themselves in 2024, with 15 wins and 1 draw away to City in 17 league matches. However, the Gunners' costly 2-0 defeat against Aston Villa last month looks set to be decisive in a thrilling title race that also involved Liverpool until their recent stumbles. Not for the first time, City have been at their relentless best in the intense heat of the running. Guardiola's men have dropped just 6 points since mid-December in draws against Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal. City closed in on a 6th title in 7 seasons under Guardiola. The competitiveness of the world's most watched league has been questioned. Manchester City midfielder Phil Foden has been announced as the Premier League's Player of the Season on Saturday. Foden has enjoyed the best campaign of his career as the champions stand on the verge of their 4th consecutive league title. The 23-year-old has scored 17 goals and led on 8 assists on 34 league games. Should Pep Guardiola's side eventually win the title, Foden will become the youngest player ever to have won 6 Premier League trophies. Feyenoord coach Arne Slot confirmed that he will be replacing Jurgen Klopp as manager of Liverpool next season. Slot's deal to replace Klopp was worth up to €9.4 million. Slot moved to Feyenoord in 2021 after impressing his first managerial role at AZ Alkmaar. He led the Dutch Giants to the inaugural Europa Conference League final at the end of his first season, in which they narrowly lost 1-0 to Jose Mourinho's Roma. Slot then delivered just a second league title in 24 years to Dick Coop last season before penning a new 3-year deal. The Feyenoord club website said a farewell party was being organised at the Raccoons de Coupe Stadium after Slot's final game against Excelsior. Brighton have Hove Albion boss Roberto De Zerbi will leave the Premier League club by mutual consent after the last game on Sunday. De Zerbi took charge at the Amex Stadium in September 2022 and led Brighton to the highest ever top 5 finish when they came 6th in 2022 to 2023. Brighton sit in 10th place on the EPL table and will host Manchester United in the final game of the season on Sunday. In a post on the club's X account, the club announced Brighton and Hove Albion has confirmed that head coach Roberto De Zerbi will leave the club after tomorrow's final Premier League match of the season against Manchester United. Bayer Leverkusen have become the first team in Bundesliga history to go through a season unbeaten after a 2-1 home win over Augsburg on Saturday, extending the season-long run to 51 games without defeat. Crowned Bundesliga champions for the first time in their history in April, goals from Victor Boniface and Robert Andrich put Leverkusen, who played the Europa League final against Atlanta and the German Cup final this week, on course for victory and a possible unbeaten treble. Lewis Palmer scored a late winner as Scottish champion Celtic twice came from behind to round off their triumphant Premiership campaign with a 3-2 win at home to St Mirren on Saturday. St Mirren captain Mark O'Hara twice gave the visitors the lead at Parkhead, but goals from Matt O'Reilly and Kyoko Furuhashi meant Celtic were level come half-time. The second half was a less incident-filled contest, but when Palmer turned to Anthony Ralston's cross in the 86th minute, home fans were able to roar on Celtic ahead of the trophy presentation. Palmer's goal led Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers to take off Joe Hart, with supporters giving the 37-year-old a rousing ovation in what was the former England goalkeeper's final league game of his career.